Hello, everybody. Okay. Today is Sleeman Silver Creek. That's my beer for today. So that's my. I got a 6-pack of this for that I purchased this morning. There we go. Cheers, everyone. So we can start. Just checking out what this is all about. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave radio show. We are live twice a week, and we hope that you enjoy this show. It's a show about radio. We talk about radio and shortwave radio and radio in general, and it's a lot of fun with amazing people. So we are twice a week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 0 hours UTC, Thursday for a lot of people. And we are live now Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 20 hours UTC. So, yes, the show now is Saturday rather than Friday. It's the new schedule that started last week. And it's the official schedule from now on, pretty much, which means that you can join us on Saturday now instead of Friday. And I actually like the schedule, gives a little more time in between the shows. It also, for a lot of people, it's also cool because it's better for them to have it on a weekend. So we are now on Saturday instead of Friday. We have a fantastic chat room where you can interact with people, ask questions. Really a lot of fun and amazing people that are here to just have fun with the hobby of radio, which we share. By the way, I have a very faint trace of it here, but you guys in Europe, 5905, you should be hearing a German language weather broadcast from DWD Pinneberg in Germany. So it's that is going on now. I barely see a little trace here on my waterfall. As we'll get into the shorter days, and the longer nights, I suspect that this might actually make it in a few weeks a little better here. So, yes, there's a fantastic chat room with people that are here to have fun talking about radio, listening to the radio. I could be live somewhere. Maybe a pirate station could be rebroadcasting my show. Who knows what could happen? The show, when it ends, well, there's another place where you can go that is great, is the Facebook group. On the Facebook group, well, you can continue the party, sharing about radio, whatever you're listening. and hopefully, interact with others, give, just say whatever you're listening to on the radio, or try whatever some people are posting to see how um, it goes, and post videos of what you're receiving. Just share. I often post what I'm listening to on the group, and it is really a lot of fun to be there. I'm just looking here at something. Okay, so really a lot of. Okay, I'm just checking the tracking of my Texan PL330. It says in transit, which means it's somewhere between China and Canada as we speak. So hopefully it's going to arrive sooner than later. Can't wait to check that out because I do have the Texan PL330 on its way. And so I know as a Facebook group is a great place where you can share. It has the same name as we have on the channel here, official SWL channel. What does SWL mean? Somebody asked me the other day. It means shortwave listening. Simple as that. It can also mean shortwave listener, but it has to do with shortwave radio. And I hope that you enjoyed the show today. It's really nice. It's actually summer-like today here. It's 21 degrees Celsius, which is about 70 Fahrenheit. Very windy outside. We actually had a thunderstorm go through about half an hour ago. Now the sun is back. So, it's that time of the year where the ups and downs are amazing. So we had about 23, 24 Celsius or an hour or two ago. It's supposed to be just +3 tonight, which is almost freezing point. Gives you an idea of how quickly temperature can change at this time of the year over here. So it's nuts. So welcome aboard, everybody. So it's nice to have everybody here. If you're a member of the Canadian International DX Club, there was a Zoom meeting there just before the show, which was a lot of fun to see everybody and have fun with radio in general. It's always cool to, and it's fun to put faces to names also at the same time, because we see the names of people and sometimes names of people that, circulate a lot in the radio hobby. And you hear that name all the time, but you never see that person, so you don't know what they look like, and it's always kind of a surprise, and it's always kind of something cool at the same time. And we never put the correct image on the name. We have a name of somebody, but when we see that person, very often we're kind of surprised because we have the voice, especially with the voice of the person and what they look like. It's like in our heads we make associations based on the voice, the sonority of the voice, how it, the interaction, the audio interaction is just always, I think we're almost always surprised to see, oh wow, that guy looks like that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Didn't imagine. And well, it's a fun thing. And the Canadian International DX Club, for those that don't know what it is a club dedicated to radio listening. It is not just for Canadians. It has a lot of content, very nice content, from beginners column to logs to QSL verification column to, I got the utility column personally, Arctic DXing, and a lot of other amateur radio news, technical news of all sorts. So you can ask for a sample copy of the CIDX Messenger, which is a monthly electronic publication. If you've never asked for one, just send to cidxclub@yahoo.com, cidxclub@yahoo.com. And if you like, well, you can join. It's $10 a year, $25 3 years. And it's a great place where you get a lot of information. You get a neat little publication in your email every month. Plus, you're part of a club. It's not just receiving a publication. You're part of a gang of radio listeners. So why not check that out? And if you are a member, well, you got the Zoom meetings that we have, and now it's going to take place once a month. So every month we'll have the Zoom meeting that will go and take place to meet everybody and see even more faces and see who everybody is. It's always fun, and meet new people. So why not check that out? We what else do we have? So there's I'm still, of course, I'm waiting for my Texan PL 330. It's the Chinese version, but it's going to be interesting to see. For those that I've seen, there's a price that actually appeared on something that is the Sanjian ATS 909 X2 second version. So it's like a new version of the Sanjian ATS 909X, and it's called the X2. It's a little steep. I don't know, and when somebody has it in US dollars, if it's going to be different, but the price that I've seen is 329 euros. That's a lot of money for a radio. So I don't know. I hope they fix some of the little quirks and quirks, and that they fixed the fact that it's a little deaf on the telescopic antenna. But it's interesting to see that, we say, is shortwave still alive? Is shortwave still a thing? Well, for a company to invest in a new radio, somewhere they must be selling some radios. Look at Texan with my PL990X. I mean, they have that. They have the PL330, and they might have the H501. 3 radios designed from the ground up. I mean, if that is the case, if they have a new radio, that means somebody somewhere is buying them. So, I kind of find it interesting because it means that shortwave is still a thing. It's still alive, and we got to keep it that way. And another bit of news that I've received. So WHRI has kind of a sister station that is in Hawaii. And I've heard on the Glenn Hauser's Roller Radio that the Hawaii station is actually coming back on the air, apparently. So, which I think is KHRI, something like that. So anyways, it's going to be nice to see the return of Hawaii on shortwave with that station. Hopefully can maybe log Hawaii. Propagation this week was amazing. I listened through the week to so many signals, so many things. It was great. Hey, last night there was a pirate on 6955 that was like a horror story being told of aliens. It was kind of interesting. It's in preparation. Halloween is coming up in a couple of weeks, and I think that's the preparation of Halloween night. I mean, Halloween is famous for one of its, for Pirate Night. So that's going to be interesting to see. This weekend, long weekend, it's Thanksgiving here in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody here in Canada. It's Columbus Day, I think, in the United States. So, 3-day weekend. I think this is also going to be interesting for pirates this weekend to check it out. And so do tune in because you never know what you can listen to. But propagation was great. I had so many stations that was logged. And last night, after the kind of the horror story of 6955, there was a pirate. I rarely hear pirates in that range past maybe 10 or 11 p.m. They seem to kind of fade away. Yesterday, I went to bed at something like 1:30 in the morning, which means it was 5:30 UT, and the pirate was still going on with some music at 05:30 UT, which is quite late. Never got an ID, never got the identification of the one with the story, and never got an identification with the music, the one that was playing music after. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I didn't check the HF underground logs to see if somebody had finally found an identification. But it's kind of interesting to listen to, and it's fun to listen to pirates. It's one of my fun activities. Tonight after the show, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. I got some got some baby back ribs barbecued. I'll make some homemade fries, and I'll be enjoying. Somebody gave me a bottle of wine for because I did some work um, installing some stuff, and for they needed to have some smoke detectors installed and stuff in a place that a friend of mine has. And so I offered to go and install them. I said, "Look, I'm going to go there this week and install them in the building." So to thank me, he gave me a couple of bottles of wines. So I'm probably gonna. We'll see. We'll see how many beers I drink first. But probably open up bottle of wine and baby back ribs, fries, and enjoy a pirate night. Hopefully, there's a lot of pirates. There's a rated RTTY contest going on. I've been actually monitoring it in the background this afternoon, so you guys could hear maybe that there's some. So that's on the Texan PL990X. The wire you see here brings it connected to my W6 LVP loop outside. So that is, if you want to test your skills at decoding radio teletype, anywhere from 14. Well, it's on every band, I believe, every amateur band right now. It's a contest. Just now, just before the show, is actually I used an app on my phone, and I was hearing VA7 something station from British Columbia, making it here in radio teletype. I saw somebody mention also some Scandinavian contests. They were hearing a lot of Scandinavian stations, so that is something to check out. There's always something to listen to. There's always something fun on the radio. You just got to take the time to listen in. You got to take the time to also get that knowledge a little bit of what's happening. There are ham radio contests. There's, all sorts. One of the things that's really nice is to have all the websites know where to go to see what is happening in the world of shortwave around you. We often talk about, websites, but maybe today we could focus on a few of those websites that I use all the time for different things. So, be it listening to pirates, regular schedules for shortwave stations, amateur radio, news and contests, and there's so much stuff out there. When it happens and when you know how it happens, it's really a lot of fun, and it is really entertaining to check out every aspect of the hobby. One of the biggest things, because I get asked from time to time, and I got asked this week by some there's a viewer on my channel says, "Oh, how do you not get bored of the hobby?" And I've talked about it in the past. The real answer, if you don't want to get bored with the radio hobby, diversify the type of listening. Don't just do international broadcasts. Go and tune. There's a whole world of different types of signals out there in between those international broadcast bands. It could be, amateur radio. It could be utilities. Someone was asking me, said, "Well, let's say that you get you do a radio listening night. What will you, what do you do? There must be nights that you turn on the radio and it's frankly boring and there's nothing much." And absolutely, depending on propagation, even if propagation good is good, maybe whatever station you listen to is, I'm not a big fan of music in general and international broadcasts. So, if I tune Radio Romania and they're in their music show, I might tune away and do something else. That's me. Some people like that and it's fine. And I mean, it's cool because when you like music and different styles, all of these stations have, their own music of their own country. It's fun to see the all the different aspects of a country, including music. I do have a couple of stations that music has something special. For example, Radio Nacional Amazona in Brazil. I had to say there's something kind of cool listening to some Brazilian music. They have a lot of very nice Brazilian music. By the way, just to say the co-host is here. Of course, at the moment that I am showing where the co-host is, he has to be and go and clean himself in the wrong places. But anyways, Mr. Paul is there. So there are different things on shortwave, and I think to keep the spirit up, to keep the fun, you have to diversify your listening. So yeah, if I turn on the radio and the international broadcast stations I'm going to tune to are not necessarily talking about something interesting for me, well, time to tune something else. I will often have a pattern. I will try, first of all, some of the stations that I tune all the time to kind of dose propagation a little bit. So I have what I call my standard beacons. Those are stations I will tune. It gives me an idea of propagation conditions. So, I'll tune a few utility stations that have, here we go. Maybe this is going to be a better. Hey, Paul. Mr. Paul the cat is in the house. So, and that weird yellow orange thing there is my Halloween decorations that I'm slowly dishing out of the closet. So, anyways, if something is not interesting, then I'll go and check my beacons. So I'll check, for example, Royal Air Force and Shannon Volmet 5 megahertz. I'll check WWV or CHU on different frequencies. Gives me an idea. I'll tune some regular standard shortwave stations that I know are on the air on their frequencies, and see how well they actually come in. And then I will do different, depending on the night. I will, search for pirates. I'll be looking at pirate stations and checking out what's on the air. If not, I will be doing some amateur radio band chasing. I like to listen to hams from overseas on the amateur bands. I got nothing against you guys in the US, but living in Canada, the US dominates the amateur bands. It's kind of fun to hear Europe or Africa or something else than US amateurs. And it's funny because some of them, if you hear a ham station here in Montreal that's from California, that station is as far away as receiving a ham station from Europe. But it's just fun to hear something else than a W or a K station. It's sometimes it's fun also to listen to some of those, but there's special event stations and so on. But here US hams dominate the bands. We're next to the US. It's totally normal, and there's a lot of amateur operators in the United States. But I'll scan and I'll see if I can hear some overseas stations on the ham bands, 40 meters, 20 meters. Check the different bands that are open depending on the time of day or night that I'm listening. And I'll check out some utility frequencies or check out some utility bands and see if I can spot some unusual signals that I don't hear often, or maybe something new. There's almost always when you tune a band, when you tune shortwave, there's almost always something unusual that pops up somewhere. One of the things I did this week, which amazed me, I was using the Texan PL990X. I decided to use it on the internal ferrite and go down to the Longwave band to test it out a little bit. And surprise, surprise, 517 kilohertz, which is technically medium wave. I heard the Charleston NME station sending NAVTEX and decoding it with my phone, which was a lot of fun. And I was so surprised that just with the internal ferrite of the Texan, I could actually receive that. And just next to it, I was hearing Morse code, 516 kilohertz. I was hearing a non-directional beacon out of Petawawa, Ontario. So it's like, wow, it's like that is what keeps the fun. The unusual, the let's tune around everywhere and see whatever you have. That's how you keep the fun of radio. That's how you keep having fun after, this year is what, 38 years. 38 years of radio listening. Yes, there were times when it was, didn't listen a lot. Some years probably didn't listen almost made no listening some for a few years sometimes. But overall, I still have a lot of fun tuning the bands today. And I think doing all the listening and the diversity of listening is part of the fun. So cheers, everybody. So, hey, 30 minutes of talking about radio without even interacting with anyone. So I'm 30 minutes behind, guys. Let's start going down the chat room. Steve Miller, nice to have you here from hot Arizona. James Johnson, nice to have you on board from muggy Chicago. Bobby Burgess in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA, WA 5107 SWL. James Johnson, from Chicago. James Farley, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. Nick Amendot, nice to have you here from Romania. Tom DXer, WPE2QED, nice to have you on board from the lower Hudson Valley, New York. 45 unit, nice to have you on board. That ghost would make a pretty good looking mask. Yes, you mean that one here? Yeah, a face mask like that would be kind of nice for Halloween. Matt, nice to have you here. MDK2 from Colorado, visiting the mother-in-law. So no problem at all. Have fun. RDB, nice to have you here. Dennis from Ohio. Can 3D Print, nice to have you here from Calgary. Scott Cranston from Massachusetts, nice to have you on board. What do we have? Andrew David from the northern Adirondack Mountains of New York. Heavy thunder and lightning, also high wind gusts, 70 degrees. That sounds like the weather we're having here in Montreal, but you're not very far from Montreal. Canadian Prairie Shortwave. Hello there, my friend. Nice to have you here. Shady Pyro 90 from British Columbia, Canada. Joe Rotman from the Chicago area. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Jeff Williams. Nice to have you here, Jeff, from Southwest Cornwall, the UK. William Helms. Nice to have you on board from Florida. Bonjour, Monsieur Eric Cottrell de Boston. Nice to have you here. Sunny and windy here. Mark Cancellara. Nice to have you here. What do we have? Kish Escape. Nice to have you on board. Ecadarius. Nice to have you on board from Texas. Let me just go back here because I lost my space trying to get back. So Ecadarius from Texas. Yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday. He turned a big 50. It was it isn't as bad as they say. I as long as you got the health, that's the important thing. Joe Tyson, nice to have you here from North Carolina. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue. Oui, effectivement, nous sommes maintenant le samedi C'est la nouvelle journée pour l'émission. Donc, on a remplacé le vendredi pour le samedi. Alors, j'espère que ça te convient. Et bienvenue à l'émission. Nice to have you here, PLF Radio from France. Marcos Martins, nice to have you here from Portugal. We have John Pigney, nice to have you here from Oakville, Virginia, W3XWT. Kishascape, little cute ghost in the corner. Yeah, and it actually has a battery in it because it does this this little blinking lights and a little scary sound. Roberto Rojas. Actually, I have an even bigger one here because behind, right now, guys don't see it, but behind the cat, Paul the cat picture here, I actually have a ghost. You know, one of those ghosts that you have a fan that makes it like grow. So I put one there. It's going to be part of the. It's going to be part of the background Halloween. So. Dax Forest 74, nice to have you here from Frankfurt, Germany. Coffee, perfect. You know, whatever drink that you want to have, that's perfect. Coffee is perfect. Tea, water, soda, whatever. Catalan from Germany, running FT8 on 40 meters with a Hack RF Raspberry Pi with GPS lock for time sync inside the house with telescoping antenna. DE1 CTL. Cool. That's having fun with radio. Yeah, it's the regular microphone for today because when I wanted to have the console with the other microphone, but there's some work being done outside in the building just across the street, and it's so noisy that it would have been noisy in the video, the live show. So I decided to revert back to this microphone for now because it's super directional and you don't hear what's happening around. So, but next show and next week we're going to have the console and the new microphone, and we're gonna play around with that for sure. David KJ4CMY, nice to have you on board from Central Georgia, and waiting for the remnants of Hurricane Delta. So yeah, it's a lot of hurricanes hitting land this year, and storms. Hey Bill, nice to have you here. RDB beer. Oh, good. I can get some. I thought this was the firearm group. It's the beer and shortwave group. James Powers, beer stunts your growth. KC1ENJ, nice to have you here from New Hampshire. Log 2112, nice to have you on board. John Pickney, back from driving to California in Nevada. Got to do some HF, VHF DXing from far from RFI. That's a lot of fun. And the sad thing of when you get used to a environment that has lower noise is coming back to your regular spot with noise kind of is sad. Catalan, yes, I got a very sweet trace of it on 5905, but I didn't even know they had a broadcast in the 49-meter band for the weather from Pinnenberg. Randy KO4HBK, nice to have you on board. Eric says, yep, about the ATS 909 X2. So this is going to be interesting to check it out. Kevin, nice to have you here. WS2H. Drinking Sam Adams Jack O Pumpkin Ale. The label was nice. The beer is kind of nasty, to be honest. That's the hard part sometimes. You fall for a label that looks real nice, but you taste the beer and it's kind of not that great. You're giving me an idea here. Since we're getting into Halloween and then Christmas, I need to get myself some of that beer that I had. Actually, there's a grocery store that has the big bottles, and they have four that I like, including the one that tastes like pumpkin spice, which I forgot the name, but I need to get that and I'll have four, so I'll have four shows with a beer. That'd be nice, and they're on kind of on sale for like four bottles for like 17.99 or something, and the big bottles, which is pretty cool. Kamaxi 1976, nice to have you here. Pagemaster, nice to have you on board from Moore, Oklahoma. KC5VOY, WA5136SWL. Currently chasing special event stations in parks on the air. Meow to Mr. Paul. Kish Escape. No, well, my PL330 is on a speed pack package. Usually they arrive directly in Vancouver or Toronto, so it's going to arrive directly in Canada and be delivered by Canada Post. PLF Radio, where I bought the Texan PL330 on eBay from a Chinese seller. There were a lot of listings for the PL330, and so I took one seller that has a lot, because you got to be careful on eBay if you buy stuff. There was one seller that was selling them, but he had sold only 10 items. I don't really trust sellers that don't have any sales, and his account was created like a month ago. So I got screwed in the past with buying something from a seller that was there for only like a week and had sold only 3 or 4 items. So I'm very careful with that today. So the seller that I chose is in China. He had sold like 700 or 800 items and he had a pretty good score. So you can start trusting that guy. So he had it for $79, shipping included. And since I had donations after the Texan PL990X, some people that saw that I was asking donations to get it have sent some donations after I purchased it. So I took that money, and actually the PL330 maybe is going to cost me $20-$25 out of my pocket only. So I thought, no, why not? And why not have it's not a production run, and there's a risk in having a pre-production radio. But I thought it'd be fun to have an unboxing live like I did with the 990X. That was very popular. And I thought it would be fun to also have, try it out and show and give my appreciation of what I think of that radio. Kevin loves his 990X using the Bluetooth for podcasts when the bands are closed. Well, I love mine too. I am extremely happy to have it. It's really, really nice. It's nice tuning. My official review will be in 2 parts, and it's coming real soon. I thought that I'd do it this week, but I want to play a lot with it to have, and I've been taking notes to really have it throughout review, that everybody will see the good and the bad sides of the radio. But honestly, I'm extremely happy with it. It has pretty much become my favorite radio to tune around and have fun with. Really, really an amazing radio for the 990X. I can tell you that. Having a lot of fun. It's a great radio. It's really a great radio. And I've pretty much been doing the same thing, Kevin. This, like yesterday, I was doing cooking stuff, and there was the new World of Radio show by Glenn Hauser, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna play the podcast on my phone through Bluetooth on the radio, and it sounds great. And so I listened to the BBC News Hour this morning through the Bluetooth while streaming it from my phone. So it's kind of really, really cool. Parag Nolan, nice to have you here. Just set up his FRG7 and G5 RV antenna today. Cool, and welcome aboard, my friend. Hope you enjoy the show. And with that setup, you should have some really nice reception there. Eric Cottrell, more familiar with Pinnenberg as a RTTY fax. Yeah, well, that's what I listen to on what's the frequency? 7880, 7882, something like that. That's where I hear it usually, and I see the weather facts being sent and stuff. Sometimes it's just a tone for hours at a time. I was familiar with that, but I was not familiar with the German voice weather broadcast on 5905. KW 1161, nice to have you here from Tucson, Arizona. PL 330 is competing with the smaller radio. Wow, the Rally Wow and the XH data is higher. I don't have it yet, but the PL 330 is in that range for sure. It's going to be interesting to compare it and see how it compares with those radios, because that's where it really is competing against a lot. Those same radios, basically. Canadian radio TV guy. When does Hope Radio International sign on for the first time again? I have no idea of the date or the precise moment. Shitty Pyro 90 conditions were good this morning. Got a Radio Romania on 11850 and Saudi Arabia on 13710. Saudi Arabia has been a regular on 13710 here. I don't know what we have right now. Let's check out the bands a little bit and see what we have. 25-meter band. Let's see if I can hear Saudi Arabia. It's kind of a little quiet right now. We do have Brazil, Radio Nacional Amazonas on 11780. We have not bad of a signal from African Pathways Radio from Madagascar, 11965. Let's try it on the Texan here. 11965.
Did not survive. The year 65 AD. This has been a marker. They gave their all for science.
It's not as good as it is usually. I hear it better than that most of the time, but it's wasn't too bad. One thing that when we talk about interference, one thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that interference, we sometimes wonder where the interference comes from when you have some noise on the bands. This week, so my laptop, an Acer Nitro 5, is always plugged into the other outlet on the other side of the room. But because I was shuffling things around and I needed some connections, some plugs, I took it and I actually plugged it here behind my desk on the power bar. Later in the day, I start listening to the radio, and I noticed that my PL990X has more noise than usual, and I see more noise than usual here too. And I'm like, this is weird. Some new interference somewhere. And at first, it didn't come to mind that it was maybe my laptop. I noticed it was my laptop when I put my finger on the touchpad and the buzz changed tone. And I removed my finger and the buzz came back to that regular tone. And I was like, look at that. My computer's making noise. So I finally had to unplug it from here and plug it on another outlet in the office. There, it doesn't create the noise. I don't hear noise at all. But on the same power bar as the radios, it was creating noise. So, sometimes you have to be to really look at where interference can come from. It sometimes could be very surprising. Lee Burkett, nice to have you here, Lee. Comparing the Texan PL606 performance relative to the Radicus V115. I'm quite happy with both receivers. Later, I will be testing the Sony ICF models with the Radicus. Cool. Nice to play around with new radios. James Johnson, nice to have you here from Florida. Going pretty well today. Zachary Owens, nice to have you here, Zach from Virginia. What else do we have? Well, Keisha Escape. Somebody, I don't remember who, somebody told me that Voice of Vietnam read my letter on the air when I sent my email to let them know that I was sad that they weren't on WHRI anymore. And that person told me, man, they massacred your name real bad. And I said, nah, I'm used to it. Nobody knows. Nobody, except when you're a French speaker, nobody knows how to pronounce my first name, which is Gilles. And anyways, the second half is worse. Les Tourneaux is impossible to pronounce for pretty much everybody. But it's I'm used to it. It's like that. It's like a lot of names from other countries. I'm not sure how to pronounce personally also. Same thing here. So John Pickney did too much video chat when I worked. I avoided in retirement. Ecadarius says, don't forget, Joe, this place is the best place to talk about Paul the Cat. Yes, absolutely. Man. What else do we have? Steve Miller did the audio mod for the Texan PL600. Great SSB audio. Yeah, apparently when you do the mod, everybody's happy with it afterwards. So, Minnow Poo, nice to have you here. What else do we have? PLF Radio, the Texan PL990X is sold out on Anonco, so Shortwave is not dead. Yeah, it's the other question is how many of them did they have available? That's probably also the other question you want to ask yourself. But yeah, it's a great example that Shortwave isn't dead, that's for sure. But they probably sold them out because I talked about it and bought one, and everybody wanted one suddenly. But no, we don't know how many of them did Anonco have to send. Yeah, they're still doing their hearings to see if they're going to push towards the digital radio, HD radio on the AM band, which I think is, what I find sad is that they think they use that and think that it's going to be it's going to save the AM radio band, when in reality that's not the problem. The problem, it lies more into maybe the programs are crappy and people aren't listening. All the syndicated shows and stuff. I mean, I miss having local programming that is done and talking about my community. One of the stations that is a big moneymaker is WCBS in New York. Listen to WCBS in New York for half an hour. You understand why people want to listen to it. It's super. It's fast, hype. It's like a news channel on TV, but on the radio form. In half an hour, everything that's happening, including a lot of local stuff that people want to know more about, rather than some show that's broadcast across the U.S. that kind of loses its personality. Kish Escape, man, the black ATS 909X been price gouged on Amazon for like 300. Thank goodness I settled on white version. Kevin says, did your sync get better after zero beat adjustment? I saw a shorter listening post said it might be possible. So you know what? I'm gonna, as a perfect example, I'm gonna start it right now, just to see. So now I'm on sync detection on 11965, and it still loses lock. It is. I'm not sure it's better. It's just. I think it's just crappy. I think the synchronous detection is just crappy. So, Canadian Prairie Shortwave for $300 US. These companies should start building SDR radio with visual waterfalls. Yeah. Steve King, nice to have you here from Australia. Jerry DX, nice to have you on board, my friend. Chester Johnson, Hurricane Delta just passed us here. Just misty and light winds this afternoon. No damage at the QTH. Cool. Glad to know that it's all perfect. Calvin, nice to have you on board from Maine. Simon Templar, nice to have you on board, my friend. Keisha Escape went to bed at 9 p.m., waking up early for that Gray Line Asia DX. All the odd stations and Koreans and Koreas are getting out really good this time of year. There's, I've noticed around sunset here, there's a lot of stations from Asia on 25, 31 meter band, even 41 meter band. Eric Cottrell is interested in the new ICOM IC705, but nobody had it in stock. Someone posted about a dealer that had it in stock. I ordered about 8:25 p.m. yesterday and shipped that day. Cool. So you should get it tomorrow. You're going to be a happy camper playing around with radio, Eric. It's going to be interesting to see what you think also. Yeah, definitely. Even after the... I mean, listening to it now, even after the frequency calibration, the synchronous detection still sounds crappy here. Taxfire74 likes the Halloween shows. Michael Satterfield, nice to have you on board from South Carolina, K4AFT. Andrew David, nice to have you on board. Bedtime stories. YouTube was what was aired. Oh, okay. That's on the Pirate last night. Cool. Of the Dawn, nice to have you here. WF79 Ombru, nice to have you on board from Virginia. Thank God it's Saturday. Rainy and overcast ahead of advancing remnants of Hurricane Delta. Now the sun is shining through the window. Well, usually what happens here is I actually shut the... I close the... shut down the shades and the window to have it as dark as possible and just have the lights in the room. But today I left it on because it was just before I started the show, it was actually cloudy. So I thought, well, it's going to be okay. But actually there's some sun, but now it's going down through the trees on that side. So it shouldn't be much of a problem in the next hour or two. Keisha Escape, man, I've been doing an intro for way too long. Take care, Keisha Escape. Sakura DX, nice to have you on board, my friend. Got up too early. I got up too early and tuned to BBC Africa 12095. Oh, cool. Nice to have you on board from Japan. Parent Nolan says he heard a few Finland hams earlier in a CQ contest on 20 meters. So cool. I didn't check that out. So nice to have you on board from Japan, my friend. Valdenis Silva DXer. Hola. How are you, my friend? Where are you located? What else do we have? Keegan, X80Xer, nice to have you here from Arkansas. Ricardo Silva, nice to have you on board from Portugal. And yeah, it's fun to have a good microphone to null out all the noise around you when there's some. Whoa, we just had a brief flash of power. Everything seems okay here. Hope it's not gonna give us a power outage. It's very, very windy. We have like 70 kilometer per hour winds today. It just very, very briefly flashed. Not enough to shut down anything. So at least it's still working. Nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Kevin Wood, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia, Canada. What else do we have? Sakura DX the other day brought the NRD 525 and began to use. Send my old AR 7030 Plus to AOR to exchange inner backup battery. Cool. It's a great radio. The ARD 525 is great. What else do we have? Unther, nice to have you here. Something to diversify can also be to tune into a frequency range where you think you won't find anything and then find something. Absolutely. It's to try out everything. Big screen TV, nope, not a licensed ham yet. V3KRP, nice to have you here. Fast Eddie in Thunder Bay, Ontario. David says, speaking of hams, I will go out of my way to have a QSO with a Canadian ham. So yeah, there's not, there are some Canadian hams out there, but it's not, you don't hear them as much. I like when I hear, especially when I hear like, Alberta or British Columbia, or it's, it's kind of western part of Canada. It's very far away. What else do we have? Michael Satterfield likes to monitor fusion and listen to UK better than US. So conditions. I want Jill to buy a harp. Yeah, I'm going to buy that big facility and move to Alaska and broadcast with that thing on the shortwave bands. That would be so cool. Rob, nice to have you on board from Phoenix, Arizona. Hunter says, for some reason, I don't know myself, I am fascinated by the Longwave. I like tuning in weak stations or radio beacons there. Well, it's part of the radio hobby. I mean, it's the fun part of being in the radio hobby, honestly. By the way, guys, I'm half an hour behind in the chat, so slowly coming up. Yes, a lot of pirate last night, absolutely, Jerry DX. Yeah, I heard a couple of days that guy that plays some Eddie Van Halen. I've heard him a few times this week. Steve Miller, record opening monologue. So, what else do we have? Hey, Sheldon Harvey. Nice to have you here from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Mark Chapman. Nice to have you on board from Washington. Just an AM, FM, DXer for the most part. That's all right. It's part of the radio, and it's fun. It's fun to do so. FM here is a rough one because there's too many stations in Montreal. But I often will tune the AM, band, especially at night. Old radio man, do I have a Texan PL 660? I have a 680, and they do not mute when tuning because they are analog PLL. So they don't mute. Maggle Jones, nice to have you on board. Just ordered the Texan 880. I'll have it Monday. You'll have a great radio there with great sound. You're going to be happy. Terry Cogan, nice to have you here. Ronald Zucala, nice to have you here, Ronald, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Listening to Shortwave with my family since 1955. He has a Elenco DJ11 wideband handheld, always something to listen to, and I always use a logbook. Cool. Having fun with our hobby is having what we have and just having fun listening to the radio. So Jerry DX says there's a Eddie Van Halen tribute on Sirius XM on channel 27. James Johnson going to get a face mask made that looks like a tuner of a shortwave radio. Jeff King, nice to have you on board from Jacksonville, Florida. 85 degrees. Stéphane Tozied, bonjour de la France. Bienvenue, Stéphane. Nice to have you here. Thomas Olson, nice to have you here from Baltimore. 73 Fahrenheit and cloudy. James Arnold, nice to have you here from North Carolina. Max Headstrong from Michigan, nice to have you here. Kathleen, PL380 is more sensitive than the PL330. I don't know yet because I don't have the 330 yet. The 330 has more options. It has single sideband. It's going to be interesting to test them out. Once I have it in my hands, I'll be able to test. And to compare. To compare how they receive. Is one better than the other? It's kind of it's technically made to be an upgrade over the PL380, so it's going to be interesting for sure. Mr. Shank, nice to have you here. Donald E. Smith, nice to have you on board from Bermuda. I was hearing the Bermuda Harbor weather station last night again, 2582. It's always nice to hear that. Always nice to hear that. Mr. Shank, shortwave is awesome. Yes, absolutely. Big screen TV. Electro Voice RE20 is my favorite mic for front. Pattern only, maintains quality regardless of proximity, probably. I like this one. This is a Maono, a brand I had never heard before, and the sound of this microphone is great, and it's extremely directional. So I also like that because I can, if there's noise in the outside, we don't hear it. You only hear my voice pretty much, which is pretty cool. Chester Johnson lost power for 4 hours this morning due to Delta. No static from the power lines. My radio sounded so nice for a change. Man. And then the power comes back and you're like, okay, I'm going to go do something else now because there's too much noise. Ronald Zagula says, looking forward to the new St. Jean 909X2 pre-order. December 15th. Looks interesting. That's going to be interesting to see the first ones coming out. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another fundraising to purchase one. Rusty Rails, nice to have you here. And his radio is an old DX302. I had that for years. It was actually my second shortwave radio. When I started in 82, I had a realistic DX100. And I got the realistic DX302 about a year and a half later. I was so happy to have a digital readout for a change. And that was my main radio from about, the DX302 was my main radio from about 1984-ish until I got the Kenwood R5000 in 1990. Which was a big step up. David in Barcelona, EA3IEK, Raptor 22 Stealth. Nice to have you here from Barcelona, Spain. Talking about Spain, how does Radio Exterior de España come in today? On very good reception. And let's try it on the Texan. PL990X.
Ministros, la cumbre hispano-lusa que ha seguido en directo para Radio Nacional de España Sandra Gallardo, enviada especial.
Amazing
Sí, el
sound.
presidente asegura que el gobierno no podía quedarse
This radio has
de brazos
amazing
cruzados,
sound.
que los datos en Madrid son preocupantes y que tenían que declarar el estado de alarma para mantener los confinamientos ante la inacción de la comunidad.
Y en el momento en el que no se toman las
This is
soluciones que
amazing.
consideramos desde el punto de vista científico.
So great reception from Spain. I should put it like here because I'm always going there and fetching it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a little spot on the table for the PL990X. So here we go. So pretty cool. The One Wolf Ottawa. Have you ever done a video on programming a DMR radio for East Ontario? No, I don't have videos on things like that. Actually, I have no radios here that actually have DMR or anything. So that's why part of it is the reason why I don't have any videos on that. Log 2112. Getting CWRTTY and 20 meter from Spain, listening from Southeast Texas coast. Cool. Sanjan Rock, nice to have you on board. So we meet again after a great CIDX rag chew. Absolutely. It's always nice to have these and put a face to all the people around. Lone Wolf. Anybody can help Lone Wolf Ottawa? He says, seems like my radio cannot find local DMR repeaters. Rusty Rails had this DX302 for 20 years, worked great. I find it sad that I sold it. I should have kept my DX302. I sold it for $75, I think. And I was in the, there's these times. You're like, you sell it for $75 because you need a little bit of cash. But afterwards, you just think about what $75 was anyways. And you're like, I should have kept the radio, Piper McCoy, nice to have you on board from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Sparky, nice to have you here. W5KCM, North Texas. Cool. Going to conduct an experiment. Everyone go to 14290. So I'm a little late here because I'm very far behind, but let's see if I hear anything there happening. 14290. What else? Let's go down and try to get a little faster here. Rakesh, nice to have you on board. Texan or C-Crane, which is best for shortwave? Only which model? They're all good. Texan, C-Crane, depending whatever you'll choose, they're all pretty good. Honestly, it's more of a question of how much you want to spend. Honestly, Catalan has more interference on the 2-meter band than on 40-meter band from a power bank. Yeah, it's surprising sometimes what's happening. You have these devices sometimes that have really high interference on very specific frequency ranges. Piper McCoy just tuned 11965. I'm getting it from where? It's from Madagascar. It's African Pathways Radio that was there and was from Madagascar. JRDX sells the recorder. There's no recorder on the 990X. It does not record on SD card. Yeah, Eric. You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Mr. Shanks got a Zenith Transoceanic 3001. Cool. What else do we have? Kadarius says a lot of AM stations used to play music like classic country, oldies, rock. or oldies in general. Now it's all talk. Yeah. I have this, it's just me, but I have this side of me that kind of likes the fact that we keep talk on AM and put music on FM. That said, one thing that I never had thought of is with music on AM, when the night arrives and propagation makes all the AM stations come from far away, it gets interesting to hear maybe music stations that play styles of music you don't have in your local area also, for sure. Estrella Garcia, nice to have you on board. I'm pretty good here, Estrella. Pretty good. Ronald, well, talk about Zenith. Still listening to my father's Zenith Transoceanic 1949 H500 series. Still working on all bands. That is so cool. Rusty Rails is also in Arkansas. Cool. Cool. What else do we have? What else do we have? Larry Marks, nice to have you here from Bordentown, New Jersey. So Jerry DX says maybe the strong winds will blow some of my radios down your way. Don't count on it. What else do we have? Let's go down slowly here. Let's go down slowly here and try to get closer to the... I'm catching up, 12 minutes behind right now. If only Gilles can record Paul the Cat's purring. T. Richard Owen, nice to have you on board from North Wales, UK. Thank you very much for the nice comments. Catalan says 101 likes are missing. Gustavo Bernaldez, nice to have you here from Caracas, Venezuela. And he's got a Texan PL310ET. Great little radio. Log 2112, Radio Advantage just fired up on 11760. Waiting for HM01 to come up on 11635. Let's see if I can hear it here. Anything 11635? Nothing here. I do see 11640. I think that's CRI out of Mali. New Burkett says it makes it difficult to shortwave listening this side of the solstice in the UK. It was rainy today and I was out with the Ereticus. Yeah, not always easy for sure. Matt can pop in and out from a little while. Cool. Jasmine, nice to have you here. Michael W., nice to have you here. Alva Sharkness, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Yes, I do like my Texan PL990X. Can tell you that. T. Richard Owen. Right now, I'm using the W6 LVP magnetic loop antenna on the radio. But for example, look at Spain. If I just use the telescopic in my room here, this is what it sounds like only on telescopic.
24 horas. Radio Nacional de España. Ana Marta Ersoch.
Radio Nacional de España.
Y preocupantes los datos que vamos conociendo de otras capitales europeas donde la pandemia no deja de progresar.
Talking about the pandemic. So this is using just a telescopic right now. So it shows you that it's a very, very good, very, very good radio. Very sensitive. And it's really nice. And it's cool to have the added bonus of being able to disconnect the medium wave the medium wave loop inside it. Matt MDK2 said it was strange. I have Radio Stereo España on 9690 on my SDR, and when Joe was listening to his 990X, I was getting double reception, or so it sounded. Ali Parvan, help me to improve my radio antenna. You got to try different aspects with like a piece of wire, see if you can put an outdoor wire through a window or something. But in some cases where I have there's too much noise, something like an MLA 30 loop is almost the only way to go. Lone Wolf Auto. So you're telling me I am ahead of the man who helped me pass my ham license with his videos. Yep, you are right now. So I guess maybe you should do the live shows from now on. Oh, man. Open Ear software for the RTL SDR. I need to try that out. Open Ear. I didn't know about that. Oh, you're able to decode DMR with that. Oh, I should check that out. I should check that up. Lone Wolf otherwise setting up the new Kenwood 710. Always nice to have some nice stuff. Hello from Iran, Ali. What else do we have? What do you think an ICOM R7000 is worth? Don't really know, actually. Used or new? Not sure. David says, that's solid show. Great signal from Radio Exterior España. Talking about Madrid, which is under partial lockdown again. Some say that not exactly because of medical reasons, but let's not go there. Yeah. Here Montreal is in, so they have color codes. Montreal is in a red zone. And so we have partial lockdown. Bars, restaurants are closed. Joseph Cronin. Nice to have you here. Joseph from Central New Jersey, picking up 9690. Cool. Alva 14290, nothing here on the island of Trinidad. Welcome aboard. Keegan as the Radio Exterior de España 9690 S3, S7 out of S9 on the satellite. Cool. Rui Delgado, nice to have you here from Lisbon, Portugal. Have you bought the 990 330 is on its way? Are you going to... so you bought the 990 330 is on its way. Are you going to for the H501 as well? I don't know. It will depend on a lot of things. It's price. And I don't know. Maybe do a fund drive again and see. It could be. Andy Tobin, nice to have you here. Mr. Shank says that radio sounds good. It sounds great. Kathleen, are you doing some FT8 from time to time? Yes, absolutely. FT8, what I do is when I don't want to listen to the radio, but I still have the radio on, like the SDR here. What I will do while I work on stuff is I'll mute the audio. I'll put the SDR on, an FT8 frequency, and I'll start the software, and from time to time, I'll look at the screen to see what stations I'm picking up. And that's the way it is. Oh, yeah, the sound in the 9900X is amazing. That side of this radio is great. I can tell you that. David says, yeah, Joe, literally worrying data from the rest of the European capitals where the pandemic doesn't stop progressing. That was the snippet from RE you played. So yes, nothing new. Move on. Pretty much, yeah. It's funny because the pandemic has done one thing that is funny, is that everybody uses the word COVID. Whatever language around the world, they all say COVID. So you'll be listening to, the other day it was Radio Romania was in Romanian. And in part of the whatever they were talking about, I heard COVID and it was like, oh, they're talking about the pandemic in Romanian. Because it's a word that just pops out of any language when they talk about it. It's just so funny. Pagemaster, 1938 UT, made contact with USS Midway on 14315. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Rodolva 65, nice to have you on board from New York City. Big Screen TV, just to clarify, does the 990X connect to an external antenna on AM medium wave? Yes, it does. From the UK South Coast, yes. Medium wave and long wave. So when you connect an external antenna like I have now, you have the external antenna or internal antenna switch. You put it at external, and it actually disconnects the internal ferrite. So long wave, medium wave, and short wave work with the external antenna when you use one. And that, for DXers of long wave and medium wave, could be one of the reasons you would get a 990X. And it seems to be pretty sensitive and pretty good. I mean, I got the just with the internal ferrite, I was able to get that Navtex station on 517 kilohertz USB. I think it's pretty surprising. Really, really a great radio, honestly. Rafael Ripoldi, nice to have you here from Spain. Had a Barlow Wadley XCR30 Mark II in the 80s. Now getting back in DXing with an XH Data D808. Different style of radio, but you'll be happy and you're going to be having fun for sure. Kamagzi 76, 9690, booming in Michigan. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let's go down. Here we go. I'm down to I'm down the list now. So I'm catching up. I am live on the chat room when you say stuff now. So anyways, I'm very happy with the Texan PL990X. Honestly, somebody was asking me the other day, is it worth $235? I think it is. I think it is for the quality of its construction. I think it is for, I mean, I want to put things straight because somebody said, well, the AGC isn't that great on strong USB or single sideband signals, actually. It isn't worse than any other portable. I mean, all the portables I have here are all in the same boat. They all have bad AGCs when a single sideband signal is very strong. And that's the other key here. It's when the single sideband signal is strong. When it is at a reasonable level or weak, it doesn't distort or anything. It works great. So it isn't worse than any other for single sideband. And there is an added bonus. Honestly, this radio tuning single sideband is much better than any portable because of the precision of the frequency display. No fiddling with a BFO knob. No fiddling with a fine tuning that just says plus or minus something, and you're not really sure what frequency you're tuned to. This has the precision of a desktop receiver. So when you tune a signal, you're on that signal. If I just go here and say that I'm going to try Shannon Volmet, I don't know if it's coming in. Wow, a lot of static crashes. It shows that there's thunderstorms around. So, when I'm listening, A lot of static crashes. It's incredible. So when I'm listening to a signal, well, I know that I'm tuned to that frequency. It says 545000. That is an added bonus for anybody that listens to single sideband. Many times I see posts of people saying, oh, I'm listening to this signal on this frequency, and it's off by, a kilohertz, for example. Well, with this radio, it doesn't happen because this radio is so precise in its tuning that once you do the frequency calibration trick, you're listening to that signal on that frequency. There's no doubt about it. It's especially true with amateur radio operators, because when you start tuning around amateur radio bands, well, one of the things you want to know is the ham station I'm listening to, it's on 7180 or 7181, because I'm able to receive it on one or the other playing with the BFO knob. That truly is a high-end tuning receiver. And so there are a few things like that, and the audio quality is amazing. Yes, it's totally worth its $235 price tag. And if you have an XH Data D808 or a Texan PL660, 680, if the only thing you're asking as a question is, am I going to get more signals that I can receive here? The answer is no. Radios have pretty much reached a level that they are so sensitive, whatever model you have, pretty much all of them. There's exception to the rules with a few models, but in general, all radios, all the portables that are decent, all perform amazingly well. So no, you're not going to get a signal on this radio that you're not getting on the XH Data D808. Is it better to tune? Is it better with the sound? Is it easier? Yes. That's where you have this radio. The audio quality will make your reception, your listening experience much better than on an XH Data or a lower Texan, like a PL660, 680. Plus, like I said, the superb precision of its tuning and single sideband. That's where you see this radio is at another level and better than the other radios that are $100 less. That's where you see that the radio is in its performance. And, it comes with a real up antenna. It comes with 2 batteries. It comes with a power adapter. It comes with a roll map that has the other side is the radio with all the details of the buttons, what they do, and so on, the functions. And it's a Bluetooth media player that is truly great. I never thought I'd use that. I thought, I'll use it once to try if it works. And I got surprised that when the radio's around, I actually change it and I want to listen to some podcasts. I actually surprised myself in switching the radio on to Bluetooth, and you're playing the podcast through that rather than listening it to through my phone's kind of tinny sounding speakers. So it's worth its price. That there's no doubt. Where 2 things are the negative side on this radio, and it's the only 2 things that I have. The N plus AM Longwave DXers, it disconnects the internal ferrite. That could be a huge plus for DXers. But the 2 negatives, I think Texan missed the boat in not putting a recorder for the SD card. It would have been so amazing to have the possibility to record on the SD card whatever you're listening to. I would have used that functionality so much. It's really sad they didn't do it. The other thing is synchronous detection is no good. It locks out, it distorts all the time. That also is a negative on this radio. And I wish they would have worked on making it better, honestly. That would have given if sync detection would have been great, that would have really clearly put this radio in a new high-end class of shortwave portables. Hey, Kimberly, nice to have you here. K6YYL. Matt says there's a report of an old pirate called Hope Radio on 6925. Got nothing there. So let's check it out here. 6925. Am I receiving anything there? I am amazed at the number of static crashes we have right now. Not hearing much. But the static crashes are bad, and there must be a lot of, there's, I believe, a heavy thunderstorm warning. Oh, man. Now I understand why. Yeah, there's a big line of thunderstorms coming. Look at that, guys. This is what it looks like with the thunderstorm line coming right over to Montreal. This is crazy. So strong thunderstorms coming. Plus, look at that, south of the border in Vermont and New York. Lots of thunderstorms there. Tons of them, too. That's why I have some really heavy static crashes right now. So I guess we're going to have a big thunderstorm go through in the next hour or so. Pretty crazy. Kathleen, when I heard about Earth, Moon, Earth, I said, wow, how cool can that be? Recently, I heard a ham that he bounced on Venus. Is it really possible? I've never heard anybody bounce off of another planet. I heard Earth, Moon, Earth. Could it be possible technically? Maybe. I don't know. The best story is that guy in British Columbia, that ham that received the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter out of Mars. Now that's so cool. I mean, being able to receive a signal from a spacecraft orbiting Mars, I mean, that's just crazy with his own ham equipment in British Columbia. Pretty crazy. Kimberly says, I am able to chat here on my phone, but there is no chat window or any other information on my laptop on YouTube. Just Jill on the screen. Are you logged in? But you still be able to see the chat room. That is weird. Or maybe your the screen is maybe too. Maybe you've used the kind of the option to zoom in on the page, and maybe it's too big, and the chat room is kind of off screen. I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. Yeah, there is a button to turn on or off the chat also. That's weird. Kathleen says the lack of SD card is maybe because of noise that is produced during the write process. I don't think so. I mean, the Reticus V115 is, for the price does it. So it's crazy. James Johnson, surely may get snow at the end of the week. Oh, at this time of the year, everything is possible. Mark Parkus, SWL. Look at the Malachite DSP portable. Amazing. Yeah, the one that is from Russia, because there's a lot of Chinese spin-off. Matt says, oh, wow, you're not going to get much listening tonight. Yeah, well, once that goes through, because it's moving fast, and it's probably that the cold front coming through, because tonight's going to be like, right now it's 70 Fahrenheit. Tonight is supposed to go down to 35, around 35 Fahrenheit. So that's why these storms are coming. That's going to change the weather. Janice, nice to have you here. So I would say in the next hour, we're going to have those thunderstorms. Brady KJ7GFT just received his Chameleon MPAS 2.0 antenna. Working great so far. Been able to hear things that I haven't been able to before. Definitely would recommend. Interesting. Need to check that out. That's the part of our hobby also is being able to get a way of that's also what we need. I mean, having a way of improving our listening experience. We are at a point now that noise is so high. What can we do to improve? And the only way that we have is an antenna. What kind of antenna can we use to make our listening experience better with all the noise around us? Branson, nice to have you on board from the Czech Republic. Pretty cool. David says stormy here too. Been raining quite intensely tonight. Wow. Crazy. Jasmine, it is possible we radar map Venus at microwave frequencies. Oh yeah, it's really the equipment needed. I mean, the problem with the bounce off Venus is not that it's not a possible thing. The problem with a bounce off Venus is how weak the signal would be coming back. The microwave frequencies for radar maps, but it's with a spacecraft that orbits the planet or is close to it. So that's possible because it's close to it. But the thing is now we would be, millions of kilometers away. That bounce when it comes back is going to be so weak. The equipment needed for that would start to be kind of already Earth, Moon, Earth. There requires, some low noise amplification and some specialized equipment just to get that signal. And the moon is much closer. So off Venus, that would I don't know. It seems to be a very difficult task. Like I said, it's not that it's impossible, but it's so difficult, and the signal coming back would be so weak that it would render it very, very difficult to copy here. So like Joe Tyson says, bounce off Venus seems to be a stretch. Yeah, it's kind of pretty, yeah. Big screen TV. I'm watching you. SkyQ Smart TV, but no chat. So I also get you. Yeah, on the smart TVs don't display. When you have YouTube on a smart TV or one of those devices, usually there's no chat there. It doesn't show up in these things. You need to go through either a YouTube app specifically made for it that has that capability built in the app, or a browser. Jeff King, locked myself out of my house. That's the worst. Locking yourself out of the house is the worst thing that can happen. And then you have to break in, and the cops arrive because they think you are. They think you're a thief. Jasmine, I don't know what the power limits are at experimental SHF frequencies, but it's possible they were running high enough power. Yeah, but I think the power needed would probably surpass the what you're allowed. Plus, like I said, with the distance, would make it really difficult. Matt says, I'm sure it's technically possible to bounce a signal off of a planet, but the challenges include how much smaller of a target they are compared to the moon relative to the distance. And that's the thing also. And the time lag involved in such distances. A signal would take several minutes to go to another planet and back, even when they're making their closest passings by Earth. Yeah, I find it unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely. John Borland, VE3HTB. Nice to have you here from Ontario. What else do we have? What else do we have? It says that's a bit of a temperature swing, but not like 90 degrees to 32 drop we had last month in Denver. Yeah, but we do have these drops also. I remember it was in the 90s, and that was so amazing. I remember because of the weather, but I also remember because I had my nieces over. They were here for something, and we had not seen each other in such a long time. So they went to see their grandmas, and then I invited them over because I thought, hey, let's come over, and we haven't seen each other in such a long time. And so they arrived in the morning. I remember it was about 80 Fahrenheit, and we're talking it was in February. We had reached almost 80 Fahrenheit in a February day. When noon arrived, it was in the 40s, and at 9 p.m. in the evening when they left, it was 0 Fahrenheit. We were at minus 18. I'll never forget that drop from 80 Fahrenheit to 0 in 12 hours. It was like, wow, that was crazy. And the next day, I still remember, because the next day it was like we had a day with high temperature of like minus 10, minus 15 Fahrenheit. It was really cold. Larry Marks, your mono microphone sounds great. A keeper for sure. Oh, yeah, it is amazing. This microphone I love. Yeah, I know, Jasmine. There are some hams that do things with big dishes, but it's still very limited what they do compared to, like NASA, for example. But it's interesting. Matt says, be interesting in knowing the characteristics of Venus' ionosphere and whether it reflects signals from the same frequency as on Earth. Which ones can pass through or which ones are absorbed. Yeah, and it has a pretty thick atmosphere. So, and we know that there's auroras on Venus. I remember seeing, what was it? It was the Mars, one of the Mars probes that's on the planet, and it had sent some signals to test out, and there was a weak ionosphere. It was much weaker than here on Earth, but there was an ionosphere, and that I don't remember where I had read that article, but they had bounced signals. They could bounce signals off of it on certain frequencies. Let me just check it out here. I'm going to check out the Facebook group. What do you see? Let's see. I need to check. the Facebook group. Let's check it out. What do we have? Oh, that is weird. Your page is weird. It's all white. What browser are you using? You obviously are missing out on everything. Because even the surroundings, the button, the like button, stuff like that isn't there. That is weird. That is definitely weird. It's like your browser is not displaying it correctly. So, nope, Jasmine, no one, no, I can confirm one thing. No AM radio operators have detected signals from the Voyager probes, except maybe when they were much closer. But right now, at the edge of where they are, no hams are capable of receiving that. Yeah, for the moon, it's a few seconds, but for planet Venus, it would be a couple of minutes. It would be at least a minute or two for the going and receiving. Take care, Lee Burkett. Raphael Ripoll, what's my favorite QSL cards? My favorite QSL card, I have a few QSLs that I cherish a lot. Some that are specifically very, some that are very unique, like Radio Saint Helena, for example, which is a special transmission that happened once a year. A lot of the QSLs from Africa I cherish a lot are some of my favorites for the simple reason that they were difficult to get. You know, when there were a lot of stations in Africa, getting QSL cards from them was not an easy task. There were a lot of them that didn't answer, and a lot of them that you had to send follow-up reports. There's a few of those cards that I got from some African stations. I probably, tried 7, 8, 9, 10 times before I actually got a card. So these also have a little something special. Steve G from the UK, nice to have you here. Joe Michaels, are you going to do a review of SDR receivers? Well, as I have them or have some, yes, but I would need to get others to really do. One that I was looking at that might be interesting, the AC, what is it? The hack RF HF plus, stuff like that. Maybe I should try. I should try quite a few others because I should try them for the purpose of also being able to compare a little more on the SDR side of things. Not having much to compare with for now, the SDR play devices I use are great and they are amazing. Being able to get a few others that I would compare it with would help convert my idea that these are actually very good. Joe Tyson says it's hard enough dealing with Doppler shift taking the ISS image, the Doppler shift of Earth, Venus, Earth bounce. Yeah, that'd be something. Oh, I'm sure some hams have some really, really amazing devices for sure. James Johnson, last Halloween had 4 inches of snow in Chicago. I remember in the 80s, early 80s, like 80, 81, when I was like 12, 13, and still going trick-or-treating with friends. I still remember there was one very snowy Halloween back then. That was so weird. We don't have snow on Halloween in general, but it can happen this for sure. Gerd Fail signals were bounced off Venus by the Amstrad group in Germany. Do you have any? Okay, according to an Amstrad DL press release, the team's transmitter was generating about 6 kilowatts CW on 2.4 gigahertz. Huh. Kind of interesting. Pamela, nice to have you here. Radelva, Pirate on 6925 upper sideband. Hey, Mark Schmidt, nice to have you on board from Maine. And you will love the Texan PL 880, Mark. If you buy one, you will really love it. It's a great radio. It's a very beautiful radio also. So anything here? Yep, there's some music. 6927 upper sideband. Let's try it out here on my 6927. Yeah. Hearing it also on the Texan PL 990. There's a lot of static crashes. It makes it very difficult to listen to the radio right now. So 6927 upper sideband, definitely a Pirate. You're going to check it out. That's for sure. That's weird. Using Chrome. That is so weird. Joe Michaels. Well, we just mentioned one, 6927 upper sideband. And that range has a lot of Pirates in general. And 6800 to 7,000 kilohertz often. Yeah, back then. Yeah, back when they were closer as possible. It's like that ham that received a Mars reconnaissance orbiter orbiting Mars. So it's definitely possible with the right equipment. Yeah, I remember reading something about that, Jasmine, the Mars Global Surveyor. There's a few things I remember reading about that. So you're watching the Shortwave show coming from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles, and we are talking about radio, shortwave radio in general, and having fun. Let's open up a beer number 3. So Pirate on 6927 upper sideband. I'm hearing it here among the static crashes. So some really bad weather apparently coming our way. It's 70 Fahrenheit, well, just below, about 68 Fahrenheit now. It's 20 Celsius. And here we go. Look at that nice beer. Cheers, everybody. So what else do we have? James Johnson, my wife asked me what I want for my 60th birthday next month. I said Texan 880. Cool. That'll be a nice birthday gift. Nick, hearing 6927 upper sideband near Southwest Wisconsin, also very weak though. Cool. Take care, Tom DXer. Always nice to have you on board. See you Wednesday. See you Wednesday. K3DY DXing. Nice to have you here from Pennsylvania, my friend. Hope that everything is all right. Old Radio Man, check the date on the ARRL MSAT Venus Bounce article. They're known for April Fool's jokes. Yeah, that's possible. You got to be careful. Johnny DXer, nice to have you here. W3JMC. Pretty good signal for the Pirate here, actually. John Borland, nice to have you here. 20 Celsius here in Toronto. Cool. So Pirate Station 6927. Somebody was asking me about the schedule season. When is it going to end? When are we getting the new schedules? And where could we get the new schedules? So the schedule season is ending at the end of the month, the last Sunday. So now we got multiple warnings. We've got severe thunderstorm warning, red bars at the top. So just tells you that we're in for some nasty weather, and looks like that. Looks like it. So these are the thunderstorms just north of Montreal. A big line of colorful thunderstorms, and that is moving in my direction. So just to show you guys how fast it's moving, this is how fast it's moving. Big line of thunderstorms coming up. And one of the reasons why it's going to go from 70 to about 32 Fahrenheit tonight. So we'll be looking out. It's as that creepy look outside. You know, I saw the movie Twister the other day. And when I see the weird sky, when we have big thunderstorms coming, reminds me of that movie all the time, of, you know, how bizarre the sky can look sometimes just before or after thunderstorms, really strong thunderstorms hit. It kind of looks like that right now. So anyways, the schedule season is coming at the end of the month. It's the last Sunday of October. We will be at the B20 schedule season. There's some schedules that are starting to pop up. There's a website which is the hfcc.org. hfcc.org. HFCC is the High Frequency Coordination Committee. They are in charge of, because, you know, if you ever wondered how shortwave stations choose their frequencies and why there's not more chaos than there's already is that stations will, man, it's starting to look nasty outside. Stations will, I'm keeping an eye, sorry guys, but I'm keeping an eye on what's happening right now. So the HFCC is in charge of assigning the frequency. So basically stations like Radio Romania will send in, I'm sorry if I'm distracted, but the weather is really getting weird. And it's very windy. So they actually will send their frequencies, and the HFCC will compare that and look at their frequencies and say, okay, well, looks okay. Or they will say, oh, well, you want to use that frequency at that time. Somebody already is using it at that time for that target area. You might interfere with each other. Better choose another one. And they come up with a schedule where stations don't overlap each other. So that's, in general, works fine. But there are a few players out there that don't follow the rules. One example, Radio Havana, Cuba. Radio Havana, Cuba never sends in that their frequencies. They always choose the frequencies the way they want. They never ask anybody. And that's why Radio Havana, Cuba, for example, has often been one station that interferes with a lot of others, is because they just decide, okay, I'm using 11,930 starting tomorrow, without any consideration of, is there any other broadcaster on that range. Man, it's so dark outside. The sun is going to set only in like an hour's time, but it's already so dark because of the thunderstorms coming that it's almost like it's nighttime outside right now. This is crazy. You know, especially for October, we don't have bad weather, bad thunderstorm weather like that. And Still not raining, but man, it looks weird. That really looks weird. So that's how the frequencies are chosen. So the hfcc.org webpage has a public file that can be accessed by anybody. So if you go onto hfcc.org, there's a place called public, and there's public files that are updated regularly. So they're not complete yet because a lot of stations have either not sent in their frequencies, or some of them are still not the proper frequencies they're going to use. But the frequencies are chosen like that. And the HFCC public file often gives you an idea in advance of what frequencies and times broadcasters will be using for the next schedule season. But the best is, so you have that, but the best is really to look at whatever is coming up. And once we are in the schedule season, and that's pretty much what I do. Once in the schedule season, all the websites are screwed because they're not with the correct schedules yet. But at some point, these will actually show up on the schedule. So EIBI space is one of the quick ones. Usually after a few days to a week and a half, we start getting the new schedules popping up. Linda Rockstrom, K30XN. Took my uncle's lapsed 1961 call sign and made it mine. Oh, cool. It's a great way to continue the memory, basically. James Johnson, if your power gets out, we will understand. Yeah. It is darn scary and weird outside. All I got to say. Okay. So, what else do we have? Thomas Olson, audio for 990X sounds great. My Degen 1103 has had it, but I might miss its audio, which was quite good. Yeah, the Degen sounds great. Would you recommend the PL 880 for sound? Like ACH data, but sound is a bit thin. So if you want to have in your consideration is choosing a portable with the best sound and also good performance, it does seem the PL 880 is a winner. And it is a great radio for sure. You're going to be happy. Everybody that owns both the 880 and 990 all say the same thing. The 880 does sound better than the 990, although the 990 sounds really great. Hubert Major, bonjour. Nice to have you here. Pretty dark out here. The line of thunder boomies you showed earlier is now right upon us. Yep, same here. It is darn weird. All I can say. Darn weird outside right now. It's really, we're almost in it now. We're almost in the thunderstorms now. So pretty crazy. What weather app or site do you use? Well, this app is a local app here in Quebec. We have Météo Média, which is a no, that's the Environment Canada app. Sorry, that's the Environment Canada app that I'm using here. It's really local to Canada. Hope you have a good ground. Yeah. So 6927 isn't active anymore. Page Master, what does Canada considers a severe thunderstorm? I do know what parameters here in the USA for a severe thunderstorm. I think if it, I'm not sure what parameters they use, but I think if there's a possibility of having wind gusts that are pretty high and heavy rains and maybe hail or even tornadoes, When they kind of don't take a chance when they see that a line of really bad thunderstorms are coming, they they issue a severe weather broadcast. I would say the parameters are probably the same or close. So Julia's getting ready for the basement. Show us the storms. So here, I don't know how I can do it right now. It's so weird outside. Let me just see if I can, because with the lighting, I through the window it doesn't work, but maybe I can do a little something because the wind comes from that direction. Let's see what I could do. I don't know if you guys can see a little bit, but I'm gonna try to open the window a little more. This is what it looks like outside. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Let me just check out here. Put this here. I'm gonna check with my phone on the YouTube feed. So here was a lightning flash. So this is very, very weird. Temperature has already dropped. So anyways, it's probably going to get worse when I put the camera back, but definitely something happening. Oh, man. So it was not for now, it's not a really big storm, but it's starting to rain more. It's kind of interesting. So that was the outside. That was the outside. What else do we have? Okay. Oh, Mr. Paul is right here. Not to worry. Here's Mr. Paul. You know, he's safe and sound in his little chair while outside it's pouring. So he's a happy cat. He's a happy cat. Whoa. I kicked the camera. So what else do we have? Yeah, possibly Herrick. Okay, what else do we have? Dr. Sisup. Nice to have you here from the Cayman Islands. Capturing a live tornado. The guy does a live show and the tornado goes through. Yes, I know you guys recommend all of that, but I'm a bad boy and don't do it. But yes, you should always disconnect. That's for sure. Yeah, for sure. Local weather. Do I have a? Yes, I think this one still works. So this should be. And 188 program. 162.550. We'll see when it's in English. Good old Pro 43 scanner radio. Oh yeah, the fall is beautiful here. The trees in the street here are super beautiful when it's sunny. We here in Montreal, tornadoes, Joe Michaels, are not common, but not impossible. We are in a part of Canada where there are some tornadoes from time to time, but it's far from what it looks like in the U.S., like in different in Tornado Alley, you know. So, David, looks like a nice area you're on. Yes, looks like something is coming indeed. Yeah, it is really nice. Just saw the lady in black on a broomstick. Dorothy. Linda says, I was able to get QSL from Voice of Vietnam. It was like pulling teeth. It's so weird. I remember Voice of Vietnam. First time that I sent for a QSL card. No news, no cards, no nothing. But, so here it goes.
From our antenna on the Mont Royal at the frequency of 162.550 megahertz. A severe thunderstorm watch is continued for La Chute, Saint-Jérôme, Metro Montreal, Laval, Vaudreuil, Soulanges, Huntingdon, Lanaudière, and Richelieu Valley, St. Hyacinth. Environment Canada has updated a severe thunderstorm warning for Quebec at 6:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday, October 10th, 2020. A severe thunderstorm warning is continued for Saint Jérôme, area La Chute, area Saint Eustache, area Longueuil, Varennes, area Laval, area Montreal, Island, area Châteauguay, La Prairie, area Soulanges, area Vaudreuil, area Mascouche, area Sorel, Yamaska, area St. Hyacinth, Acton Vale, area and Verchères, Belleuil, area. Environment Canada has updated a severe weather bulletin for Quebec at 6:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday, October 10th, 2020. A frost advisory is continued for Richelieu Valley, St. Hyacinth. A frost advisory is continued for Papineauville.
So we have even frost warnings, heavy thunderstorms and frost. That's Montreal, Canada for you. Yeah, and that squirrel was actually doing his warning sounds. So, Others Out of Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you on board from Massachusetts. Got in from hiking, loving the 1979 Sony ICF 6700W. Cool. Okay. Kimberly spotted a squirrel. Fried squirrel in 1 minute. Oh, man. Shamak, any chance of getting a QSL card by sending a reception report, I guess? What else do we have? From China by sending. Yeah, if everything works fine, I guess, yeah. So yeah, right now I'm not using Wirecast though. I'm using just the Chrome browser for the YouTube. Matt's daughter says hello to Paul. Hey, Levi Nathan, nice to have you here from Israel. Is there any chance of getting a QSL card from China by sending a reception report in English? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I know, Bobby. Yep, police here is encrypted now in Montreal. I wish FRS and GMRS radio allowed in Canada, as I was researching, not allowed there. They're allowed, but no repeaters on GMRS. Yeah, no, here it's a very different thing. Here it's GMRS, FRS are free, no license required, but they're limited to 5 watts max, and they you cannot put up a repeater or anything. Charlie X with some luck says the 990X will spin out of control in his backyard. Randy, Riverside, California. Nice to have you here. Mark Cancelara, a group of hams talk on the same frequency every night. One night, one of these guys gave out his postcode on air as his friends to see towers. There's a group of hams that meet up on Wednesday. It's not an official net, but they're there every Wednesday evening, late, almost midnight. And I've started listening to them a lot because there are a couple of them that are real big fans of amateur radio satellites. So while they are doing their chit chat, they often talk about the satellites they're about to pass over, and they're trying to receive them. It's pretty, it's a lot of fun. I actually really like that. I mean, what else do we have? Darren Pierce. Nice to have you here from Melbourne, Australia, experimenting with a long wire antenna here later today on the RSP Duo IZ antenna port. Cool. Carlos Aguila, best SDR for less than 100. SDR player SP1A, or should I get the 25? No, don't get the RTL SDR V3. Get the RSP1A directly. You're gonna be happy, and you're gonna get a real good SDR from the start. The RTL SDR V3 kind of works, but it's full of spurious signals everywhere. It is really not compared to an SDR player RSP1A. It doesn't even compare. The RSP1A is if you have to get one, get the RSP1A. You'll be happy from the start. SoCal propagation last night was very good here in San Diego, Radio Venue, Cuba S9. Cool. Yeah, I know, but you guys require licenses for GMRS, I believe. That's the difference. Here it's free. What else? Max Headstrong. I am bummed that the 990 can connect an external antenna to my medium wave band. Now I want one. I love portables with external antenna jacks. Medium wave. Yeah, it does, and single sideband tuning is superb. It is definitely a beautiful radio to get. The PL990X. Just not if you're using synchronous detection. Throat punch. Are police scanners worth getting, or do you need a $500 scanner that's digital? Let's just say one thing. If you want to listen to the maximum amount of signal on the band, the expensive scanner radios like the Whistler, for example, Whistler TRX1, yeah, that's the best bet because you'll have a lot more listening that you can do with them. That said, if you I would not buy one new. If you are to buy a scanner radio, get one used for like $20, $30, $50 max. Because there's a lot of analog stuff out there. But it all depends on what exactly do you want to listen to, and that is the big thing. So can you tune the bandwidth to full 10 megahertz on the SDR play? Perhaps we can see the whole waterfall rising when the lightning hits. Well, we kind of see it pretty well here, but I could make the here's 10 megahertz. Here's a full 10 megahertz spread, pretty much. I just lowered it a little bit, but you can see that there's some lightning crashes for sure. So, Joe Michaels, are active antennas worth the extra money? Well, if you're talking of like an active antenna, like a MLA30 loop, it's worth paying for an MLA30 loop, yes. But it's not, I don't believe in paying really expensive amounts for loops or any and active antennas. So yeah, send a report, Jean-Marc. Send a report in English. You'll be okay. Send a report in English, and Eric Cottrell says, I take part in the NutNet local 2-meter repeater. A couple of people are currently former shortwave listeners. The subject has come up. One guy volunteered for HCJB years ago. Cool. K3DY is on 7225. Let's see here. Anything on 7225, lower sideband. There we go. I'm hearing talk. I just heard the call sign K3 Delta Yankee.
My name is Tony, Tango Oscar, November Yankee. So, how's the weather in Arkansas? Everything all good? Go ahead.
And that's also something very important, like Eric says, depending on where you are and what you want to listen to is very, very important.
The question about the QSO, the PA QSO party, is that Roger?
There's a weaker station that I'm hearing in the background.
Roger, using here a Camel CS890, about 600 watts here, about 600 watts into a big delta that's cut 460 meters, and the antenna is horizontal above the ground, about 60 feet on average. All the 3-2 ports there, and about 600 watts at this time. So interesting band. It was really quiet when I arrived on frequency probably half an hour ago. Looks like the signals are picking up as well. I haven't heard any DX as of yet. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
So 7225 being tuned here by the PL990X.
But stay safe out there, and we'll see you later. And 7-3. Ending sugar 4. Yeah, sorry about that. I got the North Carolina there. A couple of stations were calling. Number 4, sugar, question mark, sugar, I believe. Go ahead, try one more time. Hey, thanks a lot for the 5-9 North Carolina. KS4S, great call. K3DY, you're 5-9 also, 59 near Philadelphia. And my name is Tony, Tango Oscar, November Yankee. How are you doing this evening?
So great signal from K3DY up here in Montreal. Any experience with the U-loop on the VHF? No. Is it made for VHF too? Oh yeah, they are complex, Max S-Strong. Trunking scanners and scanners in general. Plus, when the manual isn't right, that's even worse. It's crazy. I guess it's your best bet, Jean-Marc Let's, to try the one in World Radio TV Handbook. For sure. What else do we have? Garrett Blaney got his Texan PL990X during the week. Great radio. Yes, absolutely. Amazing radio. Absolutely. Wave scan on 9955, says Bobby Burgess. So, hey guys, we've been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the show today on this Saturday evening. I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night. I'm a little tired. And I was on camera before the show with a CIDX Zoom meeting. That's a lot of camera time and PC time. Thanks for being here. We're going to be back next week with our shows in general. Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 0 UTC, or next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 20 hours UTC. Hope everybody is safe. Just to give you an idea, guys, temperature before the storm was about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. Now it's down to almost 13 Celsius. It dropped by 8 degrees in just barely 10 minutes. That's why it's going to almost freeze tonight. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. We're going to do some radio listening if we can see those thunderstorms kind of drop off a little bit more so that the static crashes move away from the radio. But I'll be doing some radio listening tonight. And why not go to the Facebook group? I'll be sharing probably what I'm listening to tonight and what I'm tuning around after I eat my supper. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And see you soon next week, guys. Love you all.